So basically,
just go down the list.
I've just got a couple of bits. I've just got the clouds and an IntelliJX thing, just to get the what's it called, the down shifting, the impedance. Thing. That's it. That was basically the kick-off point. Okay. But basically later in the year, I'm going to be creating my own sample library. Okay. And up to now, what I've been doing is mainly using pedal boards. And I just thought I'd go down the Eurorack route from a kind of morphing and mangling and that kind of thing.
So it's a similar process to using pedal boards.
Absolutely.
Really. It's the same. It's the same voltage levels largely, and if you can understand the signal flow of a pedal board, then you can understand the signal flow in a Eurorack system.
Okay, great.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
I think quite often people can get a bit like, really complicated, and it's actually not. I mean, certainly if you can use Logic and Pro Tools, this is child's play in comparison.
Okay, great stuff. I guess what having gone to NAMM several times and going to all of the modular kind of tents and stuff, is what I find is all I can hear is things going, and that's not kind of what I'm interested in. So it's mainly, as I say, the morphing kind of stuff, but also I've got a project later in the year, and also with my sample project, where I'm quite interested in the kind of sequencing, or am I saying sequencing, kind of rhythm locked aspects.
So the reason I was asking about your audio interface and your I/O is there are some really interesting ways of interfacing a Eurorack system like this with your DAW. You can have it running completely independently. That's totally fine. Sure. Very, very easy to do, and I really like the fact that I've kind of downsized recently, and I'm running a system in a case that's identical to this, and part of the reason I did that is so that it feels like an instrument. I can play it like an instrument.
Sure.
And but I also, it's really important to me that there are occasions where it interfaces with the DAW, and I want that interface to be seamless. I want them to feel like one instrument. I want my DAW and my Eurorack system just to feel like one homogeneous system. And this company makes some hardware that's really, really useful for doing that. So this is a USB audio interface for Eurorack. Now, that's maybe not appropriate for you because you've got an existing audio interface. It might be, and there are ways of integrating that.
Sure.
But if you've got available ADAT I/O, then you can use the ADAT I/O to send audio from your DAW into your Eurorack system, and back the way as well. So there are two modules. There's a module called an ES3, which gives you 8 channels ADAT out from your DAW, and there's another module called the ES6 and a partner module called the ES7 that give you 8 channels of audio back in. Now, it's not just audio, and that's the sort of important. This was like the important, like a hump for me to get over when I started thinking about this. So, audio and control voltage in a Eurorack system are the same voltage levels. Okay. So if you can generate a control voltage in your DAW, and there are plugins that allow you to do that, then you can send a control voltage from your DAW directly into your Eurorack system, and vice versa.
Right.
So what that means is that, I mean, you were saying with MIDI, using MIDI with vintage synths is fraught with problems.
Yes.
And it's not just fraught with problems because vintage synths weren't designed to use, or a lot of vintage synths weren't designed to use MIDI. It's fraught with problems because there are inherent problems with MIDI.
Sure.
Jitter. So there's timing inconsistencies and timing inaccuracy. And if you send an audio rate signal from your DAW into your Eurorack system, then it's sample accurate.
Okay, wow.
So it's perfect timing. Like every time it will be exactly the same. If your audio is always the same, the control voltage running into the Eurorack system is always the same. So you can do, so I'll show you. So I've got my laptop in here. And so the DAW that I use is Ableton Live.
Okay.
You can run the plugins that I'm going to show you. You can run in any DAW.
Okay.
I use a suite of plugins that's made by the same company that makes the hardware, Expert Sleepers. But there are other plugins that allow you to do that as well.
Okay.
So Audulus will let you send control voltages. The current version of Bitwig will let you send control voltages. Native Instruments Reactor blocks, that will let you send control voltages. And what else?
And control voltage can kind of dictate basically the tempo of...
Tempo.
Mm-hmm.
You could open a filter.
Wow.
With a control voltage. You could create an LFO in your DAW and then send that LFO into your system. And if you can have like complete hybrid systems. So I don't know if you've used the Soft-Tube modular or the VCV rack. I don't know if you've maybe seen that. So VCV rack is like an open source software that is a Eurorack system or Eurorack format modular system with some of these like modules you would recognise from this format, but in software.
Okay.
So you could send a software oscillator via this interface into a hardware filter, have a software envelope, open and close this filter, send it through an analog VCA, or even send it through a software VCA, and then have an analog or have a hardware envelope, open and close that VCA.
Absolutely.
So you can have systems that are perfect hybrid systems. There's a really good demo video of a guy, Loopop, who demonstrates the VCV rack running with a Eurorack system and having that integrated exactly. It's really, really good. So yeah, let me show you it running. So I've got Ableton Live here. I'm just going to start a new live set. If you need me to do like screen grabs of this later, I can do that too. 2 ticks. I'm just going to get USB cable. Pop this here. So, I mean, do you think is that type of integration, would that be something that would be useful?
I think it's going to be interesting, but I'm kind of the analog.
So just keeping it something that exists separate from your DAW, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would probably do is I'm very interested in getting the analog out of my DAW and into the rack. The project I have in mind for later in the year, though, where the kind of rhythm control stuff is concerned, is going to be an analog only project.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Shoot on this one a wee bit. So just as you would with any other audio interface, you select your audio interface. Here. Yeah, sure, I've got all my ins and outs. See you in a minute, Ryan.
That's me away, buddy.
Oh, right, okay. See you later. So what I've got here is I've got a drum loop running from my DAW, and I'm going to send a sync signal at the same time.
Okay.
And I'm going to send them from different outputs on this interface. Nice. So what will we use? We will use so this is the 4MS Spectral Multi-Band Resonator.
Right.
It's a fixed filter bank.
Okay.
But the filters, so there are 6 filters. They are resonant. They are also harmonically spaced. They're harmonically spaced based on a number of preset scales. You can add other scales as well.
Right.
They are scales such as, so there's the Western Chromatic scale.
Of course.
There are various minor and major scales. There are just intonation scales. There's Wendy Carlos's Alpha and Omega scales.
Right.
So there's lots of really interesting harmonic scales in here.
Yeah.
And with those, you can filter incoming audio with these harmonically spaced filters.
That sounds awesome.
All the way resonant. The filters are normaled to white noise.
Okay.
So when it's all the way resonant with no audio, in fact, I'll just let you hear it with no audio present because it's totally glorious with no audio coming in. So odds there, and we can run this in stereo, or you can run it in mono. So I'm going to run it in stereo for this. This is the FACO Hex Mix.
Okay.
Which is just, yeah, it's just a great sounding mixer. So you can hear there, we're fully resonant.
Okay.
There's no audio present, and what's happening is the white noise that's normaled,
Okay.
and the filters are self-oscillating. So that's what's giving us that drone, and we can move the bands.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and I can change the spread of the 6 bands, and so they're indicated by the LEDs on this circle here.
Oh, I see. Wow.
I can also slew the rate, so you can hear at the moment you're getting that kind of click as it moves through. If I slew that using the morph control, then that's just me manually manipulating that. And what it's doing is it's moving as many counts as I move that dial,
right.
But it's morphing them, it's slewing between them. So, and of course that could be controlled by an external control voltage, or it could be controlled by a control voltage you generate on your computer if you want it to be perfect timing. Now, if I turn the resonance down, I'm just going to hear the white noise. But what I want to hear is the audio coming from the computer. And as soon as you plug anything into the input, it cuts the normal connection, so the white noise drops out.
I see.
And then we should have some audio through here. Oh, that's what happens when you plug into the inputs rather than the outputs. So that's audio from the computer being routed through here. And it's now passing through the filter. So I can zoom in on different parts of the frequency spectrum, so I can take those bands out, take that band out. What it's also doing is generating envelopes based on that audio.
Okay.
Yeah. And based on the different frequency bands of that audio.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if I were to, so you can hear the, so you can hear the kind of noise. That's mostly at this band, and you can see it because it's lighting up when that happens. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to run it into probably one of the kind of best known modules there is. This is maths. This is the Make Noise Maths. Right. Make Noise Maths is a function generator, and I'm going to use it to make that envelope into just a trigger signal.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm plugging it in here. At the end of rise, I'm getting a gate output.
Right.
So. So I'm going to take just a very simple sine wave from this module, we use STO, and I'm going to connect it to the Optimix, which is a low pass gate. Get a slightly longer cable. And then I can open and close this low pass filter using that gate signal. And then if I remove the audio.
Oh wow.
So what I'm getting now is you can effectively use this to generate clocks based on any incoming audio. You can use it to generate envelopes based on any incoming audio. So if you've got an existing stereo file and you want to use your modular to process it or to generate new sounds from your modular that are that sort of run concurrent to it,
Sure.
then it's really, really easy. It's really straightforward to do that because you can,
That's
just
amazing.
turn them into a gate. So it means you can have like that kind of, you know, like classic like Buchla bongo kind of sound. So you've got the natural timing of a live drummer that's giving you this kind of movement, so you can have things that go along in time with that. You can also use it to generate, so that could be a complex clock, for instance. So it could, you could use it to clock a delay.
Okay, gotcha, of course.
So you could process this audio through a delay or through a reverb. We will do that. So we'll take the audio from the drum loop, and we're going to connect it to the Make Noise Echophon. So that's a module that's made by Make Noise, but it's a chap, Tom Erb, who you might have heard of, who does Soundhack plugins.
Okay.
So he does the DXP for this module and for another Make Noise module called the Erb Verb, which is a reverb that I'll let you hear in a second, because if you're interested in processing external audio, that's like one of the best reverbs I've ever heard.
Really?
In that format or any other ones.
Amazing.
So I'm just using that same band.
Yeah.
So that same clock, I'm just multing to the tempo input of Echophon.
Okay.
So Echophon's now going to be getting quite a complex clock.
Okay.
Because it's not a regular clock. So that's probably going to do something quite interesting.
Less than expected.
Yeah. So we just like to hear it dry first off. Cable again. One of the things you'll discover very, very quickly in Eurorack is there's no such thing as enough cables. Cables are always n+1, where the number of cables you need is the number of cables you own, n plus at least 1, although it's probably n plus 10. So that's just the drum loop dry.
Yeah.
So the drum loop, because this is getting a complex clock, the delay is finding it very difficult to stay locked to a tempo. So what that means is it's moving kind of back and forward, and that's where you're getting that kind of sloppy sound. I'll let you hear it with a regular tempo in just a sec. So we've started with a little drum loop.
Yeah.
A bit of external audio is providing the kind of basis for this. So there's two different ways of processing external audio. There's using external audio to trigger events within your modular system.
Yeah.
Or there's actually mangling the audio itself.
Okay.
And the other thing to bear in mind is as well, clocks don't just have to go to processors, they can go to things like sequencers.
Okay.
So you can process a sequence using an external clock like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send the Echophon a regular clock rather than sending it a kind of the baby clock here.
Okay.
So,
and you can see that coming in there.
yeah. And you can hear Echophon's gone all kind of out of time because it's not getting a clock anymore. Sure. So I'm going to send it just a regular clock. And I'll bring some of the original signal back in. But I still want to use that kind of strange clock. So I'm going to use, so this is
a splitter.
Yeah, this is the make noise CV bus, which comes as part of their system.
Okay.
Like maybe not half the reason, but a lot of the reason that I was attracted to this case when I started a new system was this thing.
Okay.
Because it massively improves the ergonomics of the instrument because your cables go here rather than switching there to there.
Gotcha.
So actually, when you're using it as an instrument, there's less of this. So take that clock and we're going to plug it into ready. Yep. So it's now moving through the sequence on Rennie in time with.
Gotcha.
Yep. So I can then use these values to do things like, so this delay can be, I'm just going to let you hear, so original signal, and then the delayed signal is going to be fully pitched, so it'll take a volt per octave signal. have a sequence in ready. I'm going to take its pitch output. So it's now changing the pitch of the delay, but that timing is derived from the drum loop itself. And that other signal back in. Bring a bit of the original signal back in.
Amazing.
Does that all make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so that type of thing, is that the kind of thing?
Well, I was looking to kind of building a very big system. I know what I'll do though is if I just kind of go in heads first,
Yeah.
I'll probably find my favourite thing and then never use anything else. So it's about kind of building it up slowly. But
What I would recommend is, so I kind of had two bursts of building my
Right.
system when I started. So I got into Eurorack maybe about 7 years ago.
okay,
And to begin with, I had a really small system, tiny. So I had a single row, it had no back, it was just an open rack,
Right.
and it had an oscillator,
Yeah.
it had a filter, and did I have it? I don't think I even had a sequencer then. I think I had an oscillator, a filter, and an envelope generator, and that was it. And that integrated with some semi-modular synths that I had
Okay.
at the same time. And that was it. And then came into a bit of money,
yeah, as you do.
and I bought 12U worth of modules pretty much overnight,
Right.
and then spent a year and a half actually trying to learn what they all did. And
Right.
there was lots of times where I was like, so this being case in point, I had that for about 3 months, and at the end of 3 months I was like, I've spent all this money on a thing that's just two simple envelope generators. Like, why did I do that? That's insane. There must be more to it. And then you do a bit of digging, you do some research, and you're like, okay, no, it's actually much more useful, much more important in a system than that.
Okay.
But I think my advice would be start slow, because if you go in 2 feet first, then it'll take you a while to learn how everything works.
A bit
And
off-putting.
certainly with something like maths, or with Rennie, or with the SMR, or with, there's so many modules out there that have got tons and tons of depth. It does, it takes quite a while to get to know them, and
Sure.
I'm still learning things about maths, and I'm still learning things about bits of my system. I've
Gotcha.
had it for seven, 8 years.
Wow.
So it's worth doing things.
Iterative steps.
Yeah. So maybe set yourself a limit of the kind of size of system you want to start with. I think sensible would be either a 3 or 4U system, which is a single row,
Okay.
or a 6 or 7U system. I think a 6 or 7U system, and if you were to half fill it, because you will, if you buy a 3 or a 4U system, you'll fill it quite quickly, and then you'll need to buy a new case.
Okay. Sure.
And the nice thing about 6, 7U systems, they're portable.
Yeah.
So if you're up and down to London or further,
Yeah.
and you want to take your system with you, it's achievable.
Sure.
There is more than enough in a system like this to make completed pieces of music.
Okay.
If you want to make modular modular music that's very, very easy to do. It's also very easy to, as you can see, to integrate them with a laptop if you want to do that while you're on the move. So if you want to have like a sketch pad or a sound generator or whatever, it's quite easy to do it with a system that's that size. So if you decide to build a monster system later, you still make use of a case.
I understand.
Like that. You either use it as a controller for your bigger system, or you use it as like a portable, scaled down version of your
my travelling modular.
Yeah. So that's basically the stage that I'm at now. I built a big system, then I scaled right back, and now I want to have my little system and have a big system. So I'll work into having a bigger system. Like I've got lots of modules just sitting that make me feel guilty. And I think, okay, I need to get a case for all those and build this in a studio system.
So, I mean, I really am totally green. I've got in my head of what I'd like to do, but I think that'll be something that I'd go for, and then would really appreciate your recommendations of.
So other good processing modules. So Tom Erb's modules are phenomenal. So I'll let you hear. So maybe stop this drum loop because it's getting boring. I'm going to make a really simple sort of machine music-y, riffy. So this is inspired by the
you can take the
Roland SH101. This one.
Okay.
And this is really inspired by it was a modified version of a Roland System 100 sequencer.
Okay.
It's a really interesting video. It's the RYK 185 sequencer. And there's a good video that Mylar Melodies does about this sequencer, the IntelliGel Metropolis, and where it came from. And talks about that. This. So it's a 8-step sequencer. Each step can have up to 8 stages. Okay. So you can ratchet a step. He's just left. He's just gone in. That's all right. That thing on its own with no audio running through it, it's just instant ambient.
Yes, brilliant.
And it was after it was released, I started hearing things pop up on Bandcamp where it was like, that's just an SMR. They've just recorded 10 minutes. But there's nothing wrong with that because it sounds great. So. Right. This is Christian. This is Robert. Robert's one of the directors.
Brilliant. Nice to meet you. How you doing? You're right. Just getting a bit of tuition on modular synths. I've got a vlog which is watched by lots of old fogies like me. And
so I've got this on 5 stages because it's a good musical number, and then sequence on its own, and then.
I can't say anything on the page. If you can do it, scan it, so that you can follow the.
See the sheet?
So stereo reverb. And as you can hear, when you've got it fully open, when you've got the decay fully open, I'll just let you hear that again because it's great. It starts to self-oscillate, and the algorithm is pretty complex, and what you can hear there is the reverb's changing, and it'll constantly change, like a natural reverb.
Wow.
Because all of the different parameters of a reverb feed back into one another. So, yeah. So it constantly changes. It's great. It's like, well, that was one of the things I was really pleased to hear when you said, you were excited to come in, and I was like, great. Because I remember how excited I was when I started my system.
Oh, that's great.
Like, when I first started my system, I started finding modules, and I was like, this is the most fun I've ever had with synths. Like, I've had synths since I was 16.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did I wait so long?
What was your first?
My first synth was a Roland MC303. It was a Roland Groove Box. So when I first got into synthesizers, it was all pattern-based, like dance music sequencers.
Yeah.
So basically, I got into like house
That
and
wasn't
tech.
cheap, that thing.
It wasn't. No, I was. I was. I was 17, not 16, and it was student loan time.
Mine was a CZ1000 Casio.
Nice.
Nice.
I've got one of them.
Have you?
Yeah. In fact, I got gifted it by Alex Mylar Melodies.
The difficulty I have is what kids today, because it's only got like 2 banks of 12 sounds or something.
Yeah.
You just had to within a day learn how to program with it. Whereas if you've got 2,000 sounds, you never learn to program.
Well, I didn't start to learn how to program, so I had my MC303, and it was really, there's not much programming you can do with it. And then the second one I got was a Novation bass station. I got like a keyboard Novation bass station, and that's when I started like, alright, okay. But it probably wasn't until a bit later that I started like getting my teeth into actual like synth programming and things that were more complex
Right.
than that. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think what was really nice about this stuff is at the point that I got into this, I'd had a lot of synths over a relatively long period of time. So I started collecting synths when I was like 17. Got into using techno when I was about 16. Was like a kind of like trajectory of like getting into that and having had played guitar, and then thinking, oh well, I can make music just on my own with this stuff. That sounds quite good. Quite like being able to make just the idea of being able to make a complete track by myself. And then
No pesky bandmates.
I would have been 32 when I got into this stuff.
Right.
So I'd had synths for knocking on 15 years at that point, and I think I got to a stage with synths specific, and especially like subtractive synths, where I was just dialing the same sounds. Didn't matter what synth I looked at, I just started dialing in. It was like, there's my favourite patch.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I was just like, with this stuff, because loads of it was so different, and there was lots of different synth philosophies that I hadn't been exposed to before.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I've got so much to learn.
Well, also the thing I find in the age of computerised music is control seems to be the big issue, and I think that actually the element of surprise has gone out of music, and I think that's so important, particularly when composing, is when mistakes happen, happy mistakes. It's great.
When I sort of realised the other day, a lot of like, I was listening to some stuff that I'd made around about the time that I got into Rubadub, and I was listening to it and I was going, God, it's really good.
Yeah.
Like, how did I do it? And now I kind of know a bit more about it, and I've got a kind of high level of competence with it. I'm sort of listening to bits that I did before, and I was like, God, I really I need to go and like, and I've started like reverse engineering patches that I'd made.
Wow.
Because I was like, because it was just total exploration without any idea of what I was doing, just like, plug that in there, see what that does. And it was great. There was so many happy accidents.
Yeah, I bet. Brilliant.
A bit of frustration.
Yes, of course, yeah.
It was more happy accidents. Anyway, so we've got that simple patch.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then this is our reverb. That's the verb. I'm going to send it a clock. So I'm going to send it the clock from the sequencer to the tempo input, so I can clock the pre-delay. So you can get clock delays from it, so it can do a lot more than just reverb. Turn it to the up. What it also does is quite interesting. It generates a control voltage, and it's based on its reverb tail.
Wow.
So you get a matching voltage to its reverb tail. So if I take that, so I'm going to use that. So I'm just letting you hear the affected signal now.
Sure.
And what I want to do, this control here, is the absorb, so it takes basically a low pass filter.
Sure.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the reverb tail cut all the high frequency.
Okay.
Yeah. So every time it gets a tail, which is quite rapid at the moment. It's going to suck the high frequency out. Yeah. Awesome. Now, what I'll do, I just want to send this clock to 2 different places, so I'm going to use a mult.
April PRS distribution today. It's a bad day to come to see you.
So that's my clock. Clock going back in. What I'm going to do. This is mega handy. I've got one of these. This is so this is a clock divider, and it's a rotating clock divider. So I send a clock in.
Yeah.
Here's my clock.
Yeah.
So as the sequencer is determining the clock, I'm going to go into my clock, and then I get divisions of the clock out.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Now, if I take the division of 6, in fact, let's take the division of 7, because again, that's like an interesting prime number. So we'll take the division of 7. And then I'm going to trigger a channel of maths using that division. So maths can do things other than affect incoming signals, it can also generate a signal. So this channel of maths has a rise and it has a fall, and I can control the length of the rise and the length of the fall using those dials. I can also control them using an external control voltage. Okay. So I'm generating basically a very simple envelope. So every 7 steps it's generating an envelope that goes up like this and then falls down fast. And I'm going to use that to change this control. So you can hear that, which is the tilt control.
Sure. It's a rabbit hole, isn't it?
it's just, there's so much good stuff in this format. It's like, that's what's really interesting about it for me. But as far as the interesting ideas in music technology right now, there's software, and there's tons of great software out there, and then there's this format, and there's so many good ideas, and there's so many creative people working in this format. Sure. Just, you know, I find it, I'm at a point now where I find it really hard to keep up with, because like my inbox is like almost every day there's a manufacturer with like, we've launched this module, and like 9 times out of 10 they're good, you know, they're interesting. It might not be something that I immediately buy into, but I'm always like, well, that's a good idea, or that's an interesting thing. So now you can sort of further modulate that. So this is generating a trigger based on that position. So when it reaches the end of its rise, it generates a gate. So I'm going to use that gate to trigger the other channel on that. Sure. So we're going to get 2 envelopes that kind of follow one another. One that does that, and then another one does that. But I'm going to make this one long enough that sometimes there's going to be like an overlap. Yeah. Just going to change that. One for this. And I'm going to change a different control here. So that's my size control.
It's nuts, isn't it?
And just to remind you, that's the original signal. If you were using some found sound rather than a synth noise or a drum loop, for instance, or like speech, you could just blow it, like completely blow the mix.
Yeah, completely. Amazing. Right, I'm going to switch the cameras off in a sec, but I think it's we should try and build a system really.
So we want to build a system around sound processing. You've already got a simple audio I/O.
Yes.
So maybe start with that, and then later, if you want to sort of grow the system into like being integrated with your DAW, possibly useful to look at something like that. But let's just make basically like an effects box.
Absolutely.
To begin with.
Excellent.
So what I would suggest you get. So this is useful. This is a very useful thing to have. So SMR. I think it would also be useful for you to have function generation. So maths is useful. You will make use of it. So SMR, maths, Airverb.
Yes.
Make a big shout for Airverb. I think it's utterly fantastic. Beyond that, Echophon as well. There are some other really good delays in Eurorack that would be worth considering, although they're different to Airverb. There's the 4MS dual looping delay. There's also the 4MS tapographic delay. The dual looping delay is insanely clean. It's like, it's very, very precise. Tapographic delay, the delays are based on taps. You can send an external control voltage clock to do that, or you can tap it in. But like personally, I really like Airverb. I think it's. I mean, if you like sludgy old tape delays, then Airverb is like a kind of DSP version of that. Obviously, it gets into territory that old tape delays could never get near. But yeah, it's a kind of personal favourite of mine. I'd also suggest getting some random in your system.
Okay.
And for me, it doesn't get better than the Make Noise Woggle Bug. There is a new module that's just been launched, but we're awaiting its arrival, which is the Mutable Instruments Marbles.
Okay.
Which also looks like a really interesting random voltage generator.
Okay.
But yeah, just I think we've still got some left from the first allocation. So if you did want one of those, I can't let you see it, unfortunately.
Sure, no, absolutely.
It's not in stock at the moment, but it does look really interesting.
Okay.
Other things like utilities, clock divider.
Yeah.
I think you have to have a clock divider.
Sure.
I think that's the best bang for buck clock divider out there.
Gotcha.
There is an expansion for it, which I'd recommend getting. What the expansion lets you do is change the divisions, so you can go from 1 to 8 to 1 to 16 to 1 to 32 to 1 to 64. So you can get really slow clocks out of it. Okay. The nice thing about getting a really slow clock is you can have timed but long events. So you can have something like, you know, you can have something like that. If you send it a 120 BPM clock and then divide that by 64, then maths is terrible. Then it's a very, very slow BPM.
Right.
So you're going to get like, you can have an event that can clock an event that could be almost the length of a track.
Amazing, amazing.
Things like that. So RCD, Breakout, Maths, Airverb, SMR, Echophon, and it's probably also worthwhile having a think about like a nice filter.
Yeah, I've been looking at those. They I don't know.
Yeah,
they look nice.
Yeah, and it's got a tube.
Look, must be the right one.
It sounds really good. I'll let you hear it. So, input 1 and 2.
Just gonna check the time.
Have you got more on today? Are you?
Just picking the kids up.
You don't need to do that in stereo. Monofilm. I think there might be some bits in the order screen. No, nothing else. So. This is where it starts getting good. So maths, those two functions that I'm generating, there's a summed output. I can add those two functions together at the sum, and then I can use them to open the filter.
That's insane.
And I mean, the great thing about this is, so tube. So you can overdrive the tube.
Brilliant. Excellent. Right, I'm going to switch those cameras off. Thanks for your advice. Let's do a bit of business.